see if that changes.
Okay.
So, hi there. Thank you for joining us for today's financial training ground pop-up on identity theft. I'm Jen, and co-hosting with me today is Gabby. We're from the Community Engagement Department. Just a couple housekeeping notes before we get started. Participants have been muted upon entry, and we are recording today's webinar. If you have any questions, please feel free to use the chat, and then we'll be sure to get those answered. We'll also use a participant guide throughout the workshop today. If you don't have the option to download that, no problem. You can also just use a piece of scratch paper as well. But the link for that participant guide can be found in your event invite, and it's also in the chat there. So if you've ever needed to open an account, apply for benefits, travel by plane, buy a car, get married, or rent a home, you've likely needed identification of some sort to prove that you are who you say you are. In fact, your identity is one of the most valuable assets that you have. Right now, you probably have several things in your wallet that demonstrate your identity, such as a driver's license, credit cards, debit cards, and so on. You carry many pieces of personal information with you on a daily basis. This workshop will help you to get an idea of how to safeguard your identity and what's at risk. So let's get started by reviewing the workshop goals. Like we mentioned, your identity is a valuable piece of information, and identity theft and identity fraud are fast-growing crimes. Some people may think that identity theft is what happens when someone steals your credit or debit card. Identity theft is actually much broader than that. It can involve someone impersonating you, using your personal information to open new accounts, withdrawing money from your current accounts, or even taking out loans in your name. In today's pop-up, we'll learn about the many ways your identity might be at risk, how thieves gain access to your personal data, how you can protect your identity, and what to do if you've been victimized by an identity thief. Have you or anyone you know been a victim of identity theft? Click the raise hand button if so. Identity theft is more common than most people know. An estimated 49 million consumers reported that they had been victims of identity theft in 2020. Whether you've experienced it or know someone who has, you can take steps to protect your own identity and report cases of identity theft. The first step is understanding identity fraud and theft is in understanding identity fraud and theft is to understand the many ways we validate or prove our identities. Your identity isn't limited to the information on your driver's license or your social security card. It's actually much more complex than that. So, what makes up your identity? Well, identifying information is anything that is used to distinguish or identify you. For today's purposes, we will group identifying information into four main categories: biographical, medical, biometric, and financial. Biographical information includes your name, place of birth, age, and so on. Medical information includes things such as your health records, your blood type even, or prescriptions that you take. Biometric data are physical characteristics like your fingerprints, retinal images, voice signature, and facial geometry, which can be scanned by computers to confirm your identity. Finally, financial information includes account details, payroll information, login credentials, and more. This type of information is known as personally identifiable information, or PII. Turn to page 3, the My Identity portion of your participant guide if you have that out. Each one of us has a lot of information about ourselves that we've already provided to organizations or individuals. Do you know what information about you has been shared? We can try a simple exercise to kind of get a peek at that. So using the worksheet or a piece of scratch paper, write down a piece of information about yourself from each category: biographical, medical, biometric, and financial, that you believe has been shared with another person or an organization. Many people don't realize how much of their information is actually out there. Identity thieves can impersonate you just by knowing your name and address, or they can gain access to your credit cards or accounts using more sophisticated tools. Depending on the types of information you share on social media, they can even guess your passwords or answers to your security questions. Yikes. Reminds me of those, what's your, I saw the other day, what's your Trader Joe's name? I was like, oh gosh. It's like tempting, but no, I'm not going to do it.
I know.
To better understand how we put ourselves at risk, let's examine the differences between the two types of crimes. Identity theft and identity fraud are blanket terms used to refer to all types of crime in which somebody wrongfully obtains and uses another person's personal data in some way. But there is a difference. Identity fraud occurs when someone's personal information is used to access money, while identity theft is when personal information is accessed, even if it isn't used for financial gain. Identity fraud and identity theft can happen to anyone, really, but some people may be more at risk than others. According to the US Department of Justice, men and women are equal targets for identity theft, but age can affect your chances of victimization, and households with an annual income of $75,000 or more are at a higher risk.
Okay, so what information is at risk from identity fraud? Let's find out. Important information such as your social security number, driver's license, passport, passwords, credit report, marriage or divorce records, tax documents, account information, and email accounts can all be misused. How do identity thieves steal your identity and commit fraud? Let's take a look at some of the common methods. So identity thieves can use many methods and techniques to steal your identity. Even losing your cell phone can open us up to various types of data breaches. If identity thieves can view emails or messages, they might find out your full name, birthday, relationship status, and whether you have any children. They may also have access to other useful information, such as your home or work address, or information about your employer and customers. If you use mobile banking, chances are they can find out who you bank with and can use more sophisticated methods to gain access to your accounts. In short, thieves can access your data by physically taking your property, such as a cell phone, wallet, checkbook, or other electronic devices and items. And many people associate identity theft with scams that use technology or sophisticated digital tools. However, identity theft can occur in non-technological ways, as we just mentioned. Some of the most common low-tech methods thieves use to access your data are dumpster diving, shoulder surfing, mail theft, theft of personal items, and personal deception. Click the raise the hand button if you've ever thrown the following into the trash or recycling: account statements, medical bills, tax forms, credit card statements, or insurance bills. Dumpster diving is when someone goes through your trash or recycling looking for discarded bills, pre-approved credit offers, or documents that contain personally identifiable information about you. Make sure you completely shred any sensitive documents before tossing them. Choose a cross-cut shredder over a strip-cut one because it will make it more difficult for thieves to piece the documents back together. Shoulder surfing is when thieves peek over your shoulder to record you entering sensitive information, such as credit card numbers, passwords, or PINs. Always be aware of your surroundings and cover your phone screen or the keypad when entering information. Identity theft via mail occurs when thieves steal personal mail out of your mailbox. Another way that they steal your mail is by rerouting it. Once they know your address, changing it is as easy as logging in to the U.S. Postal Service website and filling out an online form. Once the mail is redirected to an address by a thief, he or she can sort through your mail looking for valuable information. More sophisticated identity thieves may use more technological methods to gain your data. A common technique is known as phishing. Some of you may have received a phishing email, for example, an email that appears to be from your credit union or another legitimate person or company, but isn't. Phishing is when a scammer uses fraudulent emails, texts, or copycat websites to get you to share valuable personal information. A scammer may include requests from people pretending to be a friend or a family member who needs help. Once an identity thief has your personal information, what can he or she do with it? Identity thieves can use your personal financial information to make purchases or open accounts. Identity thieves will often use stolen personal information in several ways. They may use it to open new accounts with credit card companies, financial institutions, or even services such as cable, phone, utilities, and public benefits. Identity thieves may also use stolen identity information to make transactions on your existing accounts. The thieves may use the card or account itself to purchase and rack up debt. In cases of identity theft, thieves may commit fraud by using your personal information to engage in criminal activity. They may, for example, present your identity as their own to police if they are caught doing something illegal, or they may use it to commit cybercrimes. If your medical identity is stolen, thieves may use it to get prescriptions, visit medical professionals, or receive expensive treatment. This type of theft has a financial cost, but also can affect your medical history. Always check and double check the source when anyone asks you for information linked to your financial and personal identity. We'll get into some tips on prevention and protection, but first, let's take an in-depth look at what these scams may look like and what the consequences can be. When someone steals your identity to impersonate you, open new accounts, take out loans, and rack up debt, you can suffer long-lasting consequences. These statements were collected during a survey by Identity Theft Center, which asks victims of identity theft about the consequences of theft on their daily lives. I lost out on a job opportunity. I couldn't qualify for a home loan. I couldn't care for my family. I had to rely on friends and family for assistance. I had to request government assistance. I missed time from work. I had to borrow money to cover expenses. And I had to use my savings to pay for expenses. Identity theft can cost you time, money, and your reputation. Once your identity is stolen, depending on how many accounts and services you have, you'll need to contact each financial institution, change each password, and notify all the credit card companies. This process may take you one day, or it could last for years, depending on how complex the identity theft was. In 2020, consumers lost an estimated total of $56 billion to identity theft. Many victims may be compensated for their losses, but that's not always the case. Once your identity is stolen, thieves may use it in ways that could negatively affect your credit score and your financial reputation with businesses. Victims also report emotional after effects, such as being angry, resentful, or mistrustful of organizations and people who request information from them. Now I will hand it back to Jen to share with us some of the more common types of scams.
Thank you, Gabby. Now that we know how thieves gain access to data, let's look at the inner workings of some common scams. Remember, these are just some of the more common scams that are out there, and certainly not all of them. So let's begin with phishing, which we talked about earlier. It's a scam where a thief pretends to be a legitimate company or person and tries to collect your personal information. Whenever you receive an email or text message asking you to click on a link to reset your password, update your credit card info, or enter your social security number or other personal information, there are a few steps you can take to make sure that the email or text is authentic. 1, in the case of emails, check the email address it was sent from. Does it match the email address used by the company or bank or credit union it is supposedly from? Look for subtle differences in spelling, email address providers, or individual names. For example, if it's from a financial institution, make sure the email address says something like johndoe@hzcu.org and not johndoe@hzcu.com. Or no Gmail addresses, no personal email addresses should not be coming from a company. Another tip there. 2, check the language that's used. How is the message addressed to you? For example, an email from a trusted financial institution would more likely address you by your name and not dear member or valued client. Is the language that's used what you would expect from the sender, or is it overly formal or too general? Is the message itself written poorly? Are there spelling errors and grammatical mistakes? 3, check the content of the message. If it's from a sender you allegedly know, is the person asking for something unusual, such as a large sum of money to be wired, or wanting to share a large lottery or financial windfall? Or is the person asking for personal information urgently? Definitely another red flag. 4, check before you click to open any attachment. Ask yourself if you were expecting any attachments from the sender and examine the link name and the file extension carefully, as it could contain malware. If there's any doubt about the legitimacy of the email, do not open any attachments at all, or click on them from a text message. 5, if you have any doubt, contact your financial institution directly to ask about the possible phishing email or text. Taking this time can prevent a lot of future pain for you and others. So let's open the participant guide to page 4, common identity theft scams, or else grab a notepad and just follow along on the screen here. So we're going to complete the the phishing email scam activity. So first we'll examine the phishing email example on the screen here, like I said, or in your participant guide if you have that. And then circle or otherwise note anything that you would find suspicious. For the sake of time, we're just going to kind of work through this together. So let's take a look here. Some red flags to be aware of in this email include the wrong email address. A legitimate email would come from the organization, not an outside email client like Yahoo or Gmail. So the language, dear customer, a legitimate email from an email service provider would likely address the user by his or her name. And then errors in grammar, such as we noticed that you sign in and you account will be. The link address, yahoo.com, has an extra O. So time sensitivity, also a red flag. Email providers often set up timed emails for password resets when they provide you with a dummy password. However, they will not permanently delete your account if you don't log in that time frame. So those kind of threats are definitely a red flag. Many scammers also operate via telephone. In these scenarios, scammers will call up a victim and try to collect personal information, usually financial information, by using a pretext, such as telling you that they need it for you to claim a prize. Watch out for some telltale signs that the caller is trying to gain your information. Listen for content. Do they talk about winning a lottery, sweepstakes, or a contest that you may have never even entered? Do they ask you to buy something to increase your odds or increase your chances? Or does the offer just sound too good to be true? Definitely one of the best rules of thumb. In these types of calls, the scammers want to get your credit card or other financial information as quickly as possible. So listen for urgency. Do they pressure you to make a decision now or offer to dramatically drop fees such as shipping and handling if you order immediately? These comments can definitely be signs of a scam. Then listen to what they ask for. Do they ask you for your whole social security number over the phone or ask you to confirm it? Do they ask you to wire or otherwise transfer cash in some way? So let's look at page 4, common identity theft scams again in your participant guide if you have that. And we'll take a peek at the phone scams activity. That's also available on your screen here if you don't have that participant guide. But we'll go ahead and just take a peek at that together again. So some of the red flags here include mention of a sweepstakes, especially if the victim has not entered one. Use of the words specially selected. They're trying to make you feel important and special there. Don't let that get to you. And then asking for a social security number, especially if it's an organization that should already have that kind of information, definitely something to be cautious of and be watching for those flags. Pressurizing the victim to act now. That urgency, that sense of urgency is trying to get you to make a decision without thinking it through clearly. So they're trying to capitalize on that. And then also incentivizing a victim with a large sum of money. So, too good to be true, probably is. Most phone scammers are strangers who don't know the victim. However, some scam artists may be acquaintances, friends, or even family, unfortunately. Let's learn more. So we've seen the lottery and the sweepstakes scams. Now they're often used on senior citizens. Now we'll see another way scammers target senior citizens. People should be aware that their elderly friends and relatives may become victims of this next scam. Many seniors own assets, such as a house or car, have retirement funds, such as a 401k or IRA, or have other benefits that can make them an attractive target for identity thieves. An identity thief may be a stranger who tries to befriend a senior, a professional who may have access to the senior's home, or even a friend or family member, again, unfortunately. One of the more common ways in which thieves target seniors is by abusing a power of attorney. If you are a senior or caretaker of a senior, be aware of anyone asking for a power of attorney over that senior. Seniors may often need increasing help with their everyday finances, including household and medical finances, and they may grant a family member or a close friend a power of attorney to take care of those needs for them. An individual who is granted a power of attorney is legally bound to act in the senior's best interest, but sometimes this is not the way that it works. Some red flags to watch out for in this situation, power of attorney scams. Watch out for unexpected, unwanted, or inappropriate purchases. Has the power of attorney holder used the senior's credit or debit cards to make cash withdrawals, to buy things for the holder, or purchased items the senior may not have needed? So watch out for anyone new who has come into the senior's life recently and become very close to them and or moved in with them. Definitely something to watch for. While sometimes this new friend's intentions are genuine, this could be a big red flag that they intend to take advantage of that senior in some way. Watch out for missing property, such as checks, driver's license, social security cards, and other important identifying information. A person with a power of attorney may have easy access to the documents necessary to commit identity theft or fraud. So watch the senior's behavior around certain people. And these are all good general tips outside of power of attorney scams, just in general with seniors and in elderly scams. So all great tips. But watch the senior's behavior around certain people and listen to the senior's complaints about missing property. Take those legitimately. Sometimes we think, oh, they're just losing stuff, blaming people, but oftentimes there's something going on. Oftentimes the senior may become uncharacteristically quiet, nervous, or scared around someone. If that person also holds a power of attorney, definitely a cause for concern, but really cause for concern anyways, right? There's an elder fraud activity on page 5 in your participant guide, and in the interest of time, please feel free to complete that at your own convenience. So we'll keep moving along here. But if you suspect elder fraud of any kind to be occurring, please contact your state's Adult Protective Services Agency. Knowing how to spot a scam is an important skill, and you can find out even more red flags and details of common scams at identitytheft.gov. So let's protect those seniors. Now let's discuss a few special kinds of identity theft. Identity thieves target victims based on their available financial data and the ability to exploit it. In this section, we'll look at some special types of identity theft you should be aware of. So children, unfortunately again, are a growing target population among identity thieves. Children's personal information, such as their names, home addresses, or social security numbers, may be used by thieves to open accounts, apply for and use credit cards, or even to apply for social benefits. So how do thieves get this information? Well, thieves access identification about children in the same way that they do for adults, via discarded documents, online scams, phone scams, or stolen property. Additionally, unfortunate scenarios exist, such as family or friends who take advantage of the child's identity and put the child's information at risk. It just makes me sick to my stomach that somebody would set up a kiddo on the wrong foot like that in life. But yeah, if you receive a call regarding unpaid taxes or unpaid bills in your child's name, or you are turned down when applying for government benefits for your child, it could definitely be a sign that the child's identity has been stolen. Try to request a free credit report from annualcreditreport.com in your child's name to see what may come up. If your child's old enough, ask him or her to do so. As with yourself, be careful about entities that you share your child's information with. Schools, from kindergarten to colleges, collect and store personal information about your child, and they're legally obligated to protect it. Still, parents should take the initiative. Find out the school's policy on disclosing and discarding private information. Parents and older students have rights under the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. So ask about directory information and know you can opt out of the information that's being disclosed. Your child's doctor's office may even ask for a social security number, but this information is often unnecessary anymore because most insurance companies no longer use social security numbers as member ID numbers. You can opt to not provide your child's number in many cases. Medical identity theft may occur when a thief uses your medical identity to access healthcare, get prescription medication, or claim insurance benefits. Thieves often retrieve this information from dumpster diving for discarded bills and medical records. Thieves may also access it during data breaches or hacks of medical offices or hospitals. If you receive a medical bill for a treatment you didn't receive, insurance claims on conditions that you don't have, or debt collections for unpaid medical bills you aren't responsible for, it may be a sign that a thief is using your medical identity. This theft can be especially harmful because your medical history may become entwined with that of the thieves, increasing the risk of misdiagnoses or denial of services by your insurance company. Find out how your doctor, hospital, or medical care centers discard your sensitive information. You may also request a document called an accounting of disclosures. That lets you know with whom, when, and why the medical service shared your information with a third party. If you notice any errors in your billing or records, Take steps to correct them immediately by contacting your medical practitioner. Once thieves have access to your social security number and name, they may file for a tax return using your identity. If you receive a notice from the IRS or your tax preparer about multiple tax return filings, or if there are suspicious details in your IRS records around employment or earnings history, a thief may be committing tax fraud. Get in contact with the IRS right away in the situation. So, would you recognize the signs of identity theft?
So unfortunately, I had to turn off my camera for a second and now it is off again and I forgot. I'm so sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. Do you want me to let you turn it back on, or do you? Yeah,
Ye-
let's do that.
Yeah, I
All right.
guess, yeah.
Okay. All right. Oh, but I don't know if my screen share will stay up.
I know. Did it
Dang.
before.
Let me. I'm doing it. Okay. Yep. Screen
Okay.
share went away, but we should be able to get back
Okay.
to it.
Start my video and make you the host.
Perfect.
So sorry about that.
Oh no, you're fine. It's so easy to do. You're like,
I know.
oh.
I was like, oh crap, it's not going back on.
All right. There we are. Perfect.
Okay. So, what are some red flags that can alert you to identity theft? Some of those are unusual changes on credit card or financial accounts, unusual changes on credit report and credit scores, unusual denial of credit card application or services, unusual calls from collection agencies for debts that you do not owe, unusual bills for services or products that you have not used, denial of services like utility, rent, mortgage, etc., unusual increases in insurance or interest rates, incorrect medical history information, lost bills or mail, IRS reports indicating more than one person has filed a tax return using your social security number, and IRS reports indicating wages received from an unknown source. So pay attention to these and other potential red flags. Knowing the signs of identity theft and how it affects you or your loved ones can set the foundation for taking steps towards protection and prevention. So how can you protect yourself and your loved ones? First, we're going to watch a fun, quick video with some basic tips before we explore a little further.
We lost that window. 1 second here. Really should have a few more open. Maybe that's the problem.
To NPYIS, Jen.
NP what now?
NPYIS, not protecting your identity. Super good. You're just in time. This is our crime scene.
No, that's my apartment?
It's a gold mine for identity thieves.
I know I should probably be more concerned about the camera in my apartment right now, but for the sake of learning more about identity theft, what? How?
Look here. Trash can and hats. Mail with your full name and address, old bank statements, an expired credit card. These need to be shredded beyond recognition before they get thrown out, or someone could scoop your identity out of a recycling bin.
Oh man, I didn't realize that.
Not many people do. And look here, wallets and hats.
Whoa.
Do you really need to carry all that stuff with you every day?
Well, no, I just kind of keep it there.
Anything needlessly in your wallet can be needlessly stolen. Carry the bare minimum with you and store the rest in a secure place. Smartphone and hats. Phones in the wrong hands are a portal to your personal information. Passcode protect them, or use an app that will wipe the phone if it gets lost or stolen. And don't store PIN codes or passwords in to-do list apps.
But they're so handy.
Well, they're handy for identity thieves too. So are your social media posts. Don't overshare. Don't broadcast when you're going out of town. And don't post photos of latte art.
Latte art? Why?
Because I'm sick of seeing them in my news feed.
Oh, sir, coffee shop surveillance just came in.
During transactions, keep your card in sight at all times and use your hand to cover your PIN number. And things like banking and online shopping should never be done from a public Wi-Fi network.
Gotcha.
Let's check out your workstation, computer, and hats. It looks like you only shop on trusted sites. That's good. Good job. Web browser, enhance, 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 enhance. That's better. When entering personal information online, look for HTTPS and that padlock symbol. It means it's secure. Email, enhance. Look out for suspicious-looking emails and links. Thieves will pose as large companies and ask for personal information, hoping you won't notice the difference. Sketchy email addresses and URLs can give them away.
Cool.
Install spam filters and antivirus software to protect yourself from these instances. Emails are not secure, so you should never send personal information by email. And of course, never use the same password for everything.
Sir, results are back from the lab. She uses the same password for everything.
If you can't do it yourself, then you can use a trusted secure password manager app to do it for you.
Well, if I didn't need it before, I definitely need it now.
All right. What's that there? Kitty cat and hands.
Hey, my cat is not an identity thief.
I know. I'm just investigating how cute it is. Adorable. Vigilance is also an important part of keeping your identity safe. Familiarize yourself with your billing cycles so that you can tell if a statement doesn't show up or your mail gets tampered with.
Sir, this just came in. Identity theft reported. Phone scam, fake contest for a cruise.
I'm on it.
Computer, enhance. Ah, so cool. Enhance.
This is my cat Smokey, and this over here is Mittens. This is my cat Bella. She's allergic to pineapple.
Love that.
No, I know.
On that one.
I did not understand that he was saying enhance
Oh, yes.
until like last time. Finally, I was like, oh, that's what he's saying.
Enhance. Yes, he's very serious.
Okay, so you can protect your personal information for free by following the basic safety rules shown in the video and a few other ways. You
My
can
goodness.
monitor.
Hold on. All right, I got a little squirrely
No,
there.
you're fine.
Oh, and then went all the way back to the start. Hold on. Bear with me.
No, you're good. You're on 14, I think. Protecting against identity theft. Yeah.
Got really excited and went all the way to the end. All right. Thank you. Whew. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. Okay, so monitor your credit reports and scores. You can access your free credit report at annualcreditreport.com, and you're entitled to one free credit report from each of the 3 credit reporting bureaus a year. Monitor your financial statements, review financial transactions carefully and correctly, and correct any errors by contacting your credit union promptly. Practice online safety. Log into your email and online banking accounts regularly and change your passwords every few months. Remember to use strong passwords that are difficult to guess. Do not click on links or download files from unknown or suspicious senders, and become familiar with red flags that indicate phishing scams. Try to not use public Wi-Fi to receive or send sensitive documents or access online bank accounts. Secure your documents. Keep your sensitive information in a safe place. Don't carry your social security card with you. Remember to shred sensitive documents once you no longer need them. Do not discard or recycle them. Be aware of your surroundings. Cover the keypad when entering your PIN and keep an eye out for shoulder surfers in public spaces who may be watching you key your phone's passcode or credit card information. If you feel like you could do more or need help with identity protection, there are commercial monitoring services available. 2 of those are credit monitoring services and identity monitoring services. Credit monitoring services keep a close watch on your credit and send you updates and alerts on credit report changes. They allow you to recognize problems and take action in a timely manner, and they typically charge a fee for these services. Then we have identity monitoring services, which can fill the gaps that credit monitoring services may miss. They can alert you if personal information is used to create accounts or sign up for services, or if that information shows up in records such as court records. They also charge a fee for this. You can also use a credit freeze or security freeze to protect your accounts. A credit freeze typically prevents anyone from accessing your credit, such as opening new accounts until you authorize its release. Credit freezes and unfreezes are free from the 3 major credit reporting bureaus when requested. Another way to protect yourself is through fraud alerts. Fraud alerts are available from any of the 3 credit reporting bureaus. They are free but temporary and last up to 1 year. Another great way to protect yourself is called Card Valet, and it's available in the Horizon mobile app. It allows you to manage your card securely via an app with features like real-time purchase alerts, on-off controls, cell phone nearness technology, and geographic location settings, you can feel confident and secure using your HZCU debit and credit cards. Protection and prevention are important steps in halting identity thieves, but what can you do if you've already been a victim of identity theft? Step 1 is to collect information. Review your credit report and monitor any changes caused by the theft, as well as reviewing your account where the theft occurred and noting any changes there and looking over other and connected accounts. Step 2 is to report to the fraud departments and federal agencies. Report the theft to the fraud department at the organization or company where it occurred. Close all accounts and change all passwords, PINs, and access data to prevent the breach from reoccurring. Report the theft to the 3 nationwide credit reporting bureaus and request a fraud alert. The participation guide has the bureau's website and phone numbers. Create an identity theft report by reporting the theft to the Federal Trade Commission. The participant guide also has instructions in there on how to do that. And then creating a report with the local police. Step 3 is to repair the damage. Review the new accounts created by the theft and close them. Review the correct statements and charges on your bills, credit reports, and other financial documents. Make a plan of action for monitoring your accounts or get a paid monitoring service. The Federal Trade Commission website, www.identitytheft.gov, offers free personalized recovery plans for your unique experiences. Identity theft is a crime, and under federal law, you are entitled to certain protections. The Identity Theft and Assumption Deterrence Act of 1998 states that identity theft is a federal crime that can carry a punishment of up to 15 years imprisonment. The Graham-Leach-Bliley Act requires financial institutions to protect customers' non-public information and give them notice about how they use and share their data. With some exceptions, you can generally ask to opt out of your information being shared. Every consumer who has been affected by identity theft has a set of rights that include the right to file an identity theft report with the FTC, place a 1-year fraud alert, place a free credit freeze, and get those free copies of their credit report and have any incorrect information removed.
Identity theft can take various forms and target many types of people. However, by being aware and mindful and by sharing your information selectively, you can reduce the window of opportunity for thieves to access your information. As more and more personal information becomes available online and as financial services move online, it's important to develop the skills to understand and monitor your own finances. It is also important to build healthy habits, such as changing passwords regularly. I know that's tough. I may be guilty of that, using one for everything too, with a little variation. But yes, so change those passwords regularly. Do not make them all the same. Request and review credit reports yearly, and ensure that any errors are corrected quickly. The more difficult it is for identity thieves to access and use your data, excuse me, the more protected you'll be. Thank you for attending today's pop-up, and thank you for co-hosting, Gabby. Are there any questions that we can answer for anybody? Haven't seen anything come through the chat. I don't think so. We are good there, I believe. To wrap things up, we'll share just a couple more slides. First, we have more info on that Card Valet app that Gabby was talking about, available through the Horizon mobile app. Confidently and securely manage your Horizon credit and debit cards all in one place. For even more info, click on the link at the bottom of the screen here, cardvalet.com. And then finally, continue your financial journey by completing the Interactive Identity Protection Guide at the top link shown on the screen, exploring all the Horizon Financial Training Ground has to offer at the middle link there, or creating your own personalized playlist of financial education content at the bottom link. And thank you again for joining us today. We will see you next month in October. Yay. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.